Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I am Biotic Shark and I am your emo artist here to bring you yet another quick little video that I hope helps you out. And actually this video has not been requested like the other tutorials that I made about emotes and making your own. If you are interested in that, go ahead and check them out. They're on my channel. But I decided to take the liberty and make this video, and this video is specifically going to be going over emotes that every successful stream has, like what types of emotes, and why you should have those types of emotes in your stream as well. Now, don't get overwhelmed by all the emotes that you currently see on the screen. I'm going to be going over all of the different rows, and we're going to be diving into that. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but I'll try and make it short and sweet. I know that I'm not really trying to make like an official channel here on YouTube, and I'm certainly not looking for like subscribers or likes necessarily, but go ahead and click them if you feel the need to. I'm just perfectly aware that the subscribers that I do have are particularly of the streamer audience, more specifically streamers who are looking to take their stream to an elevated level, to a more professional level, right? They're trying to level up themselves. But, you know, when it comes to the artistic department, you know, with emotes, badges, branding, anything involving artwork or design, a lot of people fall short or they're just not experienced. So they look to professionals who are experienced for information. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I come in. So I hope you find this video helpful, and let's get into it. So we're going to be starting out the video with my examples, and then I'm actually going to be going over some very popular, well-known streamers and their emotes as well. So I'm going to kind of give you the best of both worlds in that respect. But really quick, I want to start this video with the poor people versus rich people analogy. Now, when I say that, I'm basically saying like poor people probably have different habits than rich people, right? So I think it's safe to say, and again, this is only for example and analogy purposes, but a poor person might not have the same habits as a rich person. And because of this, it might behoove a, let's say, poor person to ask advice from the rich person who, you know, may have some tips and tricks. It's the same kind of thing. If your stream isn't where you want it to be, you might want to look to some of the more popular and successful streamers and what are they doing? What do they have? You know, to, you know, find some inspiration and like what you should be doing. Now, really quick, I want to also stress that there is not a million tips or tricks you need to write down and memorize. I only have one rule of thumb, just one. And that rule of thumb is universal value. I repeat, universal value. What do I mean by universal value? I mean that your emote, your basic rule of thumb when you're trying to figure out like, okay, what should my emote be? Universal value, I mean, it has universal use, as in your emote should be and represent just a very basic human emotion or action. And by universal use, I also mean your emote should be able to be used by your subscribers, and not just your stream, but other streams as well, right? Try to refrain, unless you're like a very, very big, popular, big time streamer, which if you're watching this video, chances are you're probably not, and that's okay. Yeah, like try and refrain from emotes that are like inside jokes, you know, just kind of cryptic, like weird. You don't want your emote characters to be doing this random weird thing. You want it to just be a basic, like they're happy, they're sad, they're crying, or what have you. That way it can be used in a multiple situations. So like one emote can have a multiple range of uses, right? So let's go ahead and look at my examples right here. So this row right here, these are peak emotes. Some people call them lurk emotes. These aren't like one of the, I don't know. I'm trying to, yeah, I mean, I guess I would recommend them. They're pretty basic. They're not as basic as like hype, hey, crying, sad, happy, laughing, whatever. But lurk emotes, you know, streamers, I mean, as a streamer who's watching this video, you know exactly what a lurker is in a stream. And sometimes instead of typing things, some of your subscribers are more on the quiet side. They don't like to type. They just like to watch. They just like to lurk while they're doing something else, you know? And some people like to have lurk emotes so they can just, you know, enter the stream, and instead of saying hi and making this big introduction or typing stuff and getting, you know, baited into conversation, they'll just, you know, post a little lurk emote, and you know, it's kind of a cute way to do that. This row right here are rage emotes. These are just a couple of examples. Again, I just had to pick just a couple from different categories. The amount of emotes I've done, not to toot my horn, is just so much that I would never ever in a million years be able to come close to like fitting all of them in just one screen. And I didn't want to overwhelm you guys, but yeah, so you have rage emotes, rest in peace emotes, like rip emotes. You have thinking emotes, or like you have an idea. You have hype emotes, you have high emotes, you have crying emotes, you have orgasm emotes right here. You have love, laughing. I'm gonna go into these are like miscellaneous examples. But yeah, like just for an example, like a gazzing emote, you could use this emote right here in a variety of scenarios. Maybe someone's watching the stream, and in the video game that you're playing, a really attractive character comes on. You know, someone can use into that. Maybe someone's talking about how in the stream chat that they just ordered a fucking delicious ass pizza. They could use an orgasm pizza right there. Crying emotes. Crying emotes can be used for, you know, obvious sad reasons, but I've seen people even using them just to be cute, you know, like, oh, like please, you know, and then just attaching one of these emotes to it, and that's applicable there as well. Rage emotes, you know, pretty standard. I mean, you usually only use them. People only usually use them when they're like pissed, or, you know, they're like in a, you know, soft, friendly argument with someone in a stream or whatever, or like when someone dies. Same thing with these, like speaking of dying, like people usually only use rip emotes when either the streamer dies in the video game, or, you know, I mean, pretty straightforward. The cool thing I like about high emotes, I call them greeting emotes, you can also use them to say bye. So it's not just like, I've had people ask like, hey, can one of my emotes be hi emotes? One of my emotes be bye emotes? And I'm like, that's not necessary. As long as you don't have any unnecessary text, the emote speaks for itself. So if you have a character in an emote just waving, that could be waving hi, or that could be waving bye. That goes to my earlier example when I said one emote should have multiple potential uses, right? So your hi emote has two uses, hi and bye. Let's see. I mean, laughing's pretty standard. You can use that in so many scenarios, especially with all the memes nowadays. But yeah, I hope I'm making sense here. And then these over here, these miscellaneous examples, are just some examples I've seen across the board to be very, very popularly and commonly used. This is a sip emote. You could even have this as like a teacup and just have fun with it, because, you know, like it's just a very internet or like modern way of saying, you know, like spill the tea, or like what's the tea, or like that's none of my business. You know, there's so many different uses you could use a sip emote. You know, it could be neutral, or like, oh, oop. Yeah, there's just so many different ways you could use those. So sip emotes are great. These are kind of like deal with the emote, or like just, you know, cool, like what's up, like okay bud. Like, again, you could use this in so many different scenarios, and it's not too obscure to where it's like, how and where would I ever use this emote, you know? This is a yawning emote. This one's a little bit more obscure, but again, it has multiple uses in a chat. Like if someone's like boring you in the chat, or someone's trying to like, you know, explain something to you you already know, or they're annoying you, or whatever, or you're just being bored with them, you could just yawn. Or if you'd be like, hey, I'm sleepy, and then you attach the yawning emote. Again, this is another sip emote. I'll put that up here next to that. But But yeah, so these are some of my examples, and just to kind of give you some inspiration as well. I know a lot of people message me saying, hey, what kind of emotes should I do? And I'm like, hey, just check out some of mine just to get some inspiration. I'm not saying copy or trace any of mine, but you know, just to look at them and, you know, get some inspiration so you know what kind of emotes people use. And then as your stream gets way more popular, you can start having a little more fun and being a little more specific to your stream. In terms of like venturing away from the basic human emotions like happy, mad, sad, all of them, right? And yeah, so let's go to some examples. So we got Ninja, we have Admiral Baru, we have Tim the Tatman, and we have Cryaotic, just as a couple of big time streamers that most, but probably not all people know about. And just to kind of show you visually what I mean. So like, you have a fail emote right here. You have a cute little like, oh, you could use this emote for hi. This emote, I don't think it's meant to be, it's called Ninja Amazing. I don't think it's meant to be a laughing emote, but you could definitely use it as a laughing emote. That's a good one. All like when something cute's happening or when you're inspired or just kind of happy, like there's cry. But see, also when I mean obscure, I mean like big fan, like what? Like the llama thing is very specific to one specific video game. I would refrain from doing stuff like that unless you only stream one game. If you're a type of streamer who only plays one game, that's okay. But again, try and have it like the llama is not doing anything. It's not, it doesn't have an emotion. It doesn't have a facial expression. It's just there. But if you play Fortnite, you would know what that is, right? Again, it's a little too specific. So if you're just trying to figure out your first set of emotes, I would refrain from doing stuff like this. Like the Prime, I know it's referring to like Twitch Prime, but again, a little too specific. You couldn't really use that anywhere else. You really couldn't use the Red Bull anywhere else. Like what is this? Like, you know what I mean? So refrain from these. Oh, look, he has his own little sip emote. Ninja Troll Face, that's pretty good, you know, because that's, the troll face is like, you know, it's one of the OG memes. Like everyone knows what that is. And you could use it in so many different ways. But yeah, so then, like Admiral Baru, that's another thing actually, and Admiral Baru is a great example. Before we close off the video, notice that Admiral Baru, for the most part, he has one emote mascot, and he is very, very consistent with that. And that's the cute, adorable little panda, right? And that also leads into branding. I'm gonna make a separate video about branding, but just to kind of keep things short and sweet. Consistency is another, like pick and choose one easy mascot that relates to your stream and branding. So like part of his branding is, you know, anime and pandas. So for the most part, he has his little panda mascot, and he has him doing the several different, you know, emotions and actions, like eating popcorn and cute stuff like that. And then, you know, he's a big time streamer, so he can also branch out and do a couple of cute anime emotes of like his original character or, you know, whatever. But just to kind of give you examples, you know, happy is a basic emotion, but I would argue that you need to make it very, if you want a happy emote, try and make it very happy like in this one. But if you just have a character just smiling, like a normal smile, it's too basic, you know. With emotes, the emotions tend to be exaggerated, so keep that in mind. Popcorn's kind of like sipping tea or a sip emote. It's just you could use it in so many different scenarios, so that's good. But yeah, see how they just like, it's not a different character for each emote for the most part. It's either the panda or it's this OC anime character, right? For early streamers, just stick to one, not two. Just stick to one mascot. Same thing with this guy, like Tim the Tatman. He's got his little penguin emote. Now, Tim the Tatman is like, he himself is more on the iconic side, so he has a little bit more personal face emotes, so that's okay. There's a couple, actually he has quite a lot of emotes that are, you can tell are inside jokes or very game specific. Again, he can get away with that because he is an extremely successful streamer. That doesn't really apply to you guys. Not saying y'all aren't successful, but you know, you're not at their level, and that's okay. Hopefully one day you will be, right? And then just another one like this one's great. That's another thing. Like pay emotes are great too because they're so widely known. Those are okay. Like the baby emote's cute and it's done like in an 8-bit style. But you know, just a little, like you couldn't go into other streams and use that for the most part. Like, you know what I mean? There's just not a lot to it. This one doesn't have a lot of usage. Like what? I can hardly tell what that is. I think it's like a internet router on fire or something. But yeah, I hope that this video kind of gives you some pointers and kind of gives you actual visible examples as to what kinds of emotes people have. And not just any people. Like, these are the types of emotes that successful streams have. And these are the kind of emotes that you should have, right? Keep it basic human emotion, basic actions. Again, before I close out the video, number one rule of thumb, that's my dog, sorry about that. I only have one rule of thumb, and that's universal value. If it meets the universal value criteria, go ahead and go for it. Get that emote made or draw it yourself or however you're doing it, okay? Thank you again so much for watching. Again, I'm gonna make another tutorial coming up shortly about branding specifically. But if you have any questions, guys, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'm really, really good at responding to comments. You can also email me at godslittleshark@gmail.com, which I'll leave in the description box. If you'd like to commission me, I'd prefer you to DM me on Twitter. DMs are always open, and you can find my commission and pricing info on my Twitter page as well. All right, so good luck if you're making your own emotes, and good luck if you're commissioning someone as well. So y'all have a great day. I know these are crazy times that we're living in, and yeah, y'all take care.